Well, I'm going to interrupt your wonderful tabletop discussions. And for those of you who have been following the news, I may be adding quarterback to my resume on December the 28th. So we'll see if I can still throw a football. I think I can still do a couple of 10-yard outs. So Congressman Moore, thank you for being with us and for those inspiring words today. You know, one of the things that, we hear, and West Virginia is such exciting times going on now, but you do not hear a conversation in economic development or other areas without hearing education and energy mentioned. And it's my pleasure to get to introduce our next guest, Morgan O'Brien. Morgan currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of Hope Gas and Hope Utilities, a position he's had now for 26 months, I just learned today. He is a native Pittsburgher, much to my dismay as a Bengals fan and an avid Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Morgan, we'll let that one go. But he has been there for 26 months, and he's developed quite a work ethic and comes from a blue-collar background. And because of that, he quickly rose, seeing the value in people and that work ethic. He quickly rose to the CEO of Duquesne Light Power that serviced Western Pennsylvania. And subsequent to that, he was the CEO of Peoples Gas, which serviced Western Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and West Virginia. He's been the face and voice to the many dedicated, hardworking people who provide a valuable service of providing energy to our businesses and families. During his tenure at these companies, we've seen an increase in employment growth, customer base, and total investor value. The companies he has represented and worked for has been a champion in their communities. They have been significant in economic development and creating a better quality of life for those in West Virginia. He's a proud graduate of Robert Morris, is very active in his community on many different civic organizations. He currently serves as the chairman of the board of trustees for the Colonials, Robert Morris. I know that name because we played them in basketball, Morgan. He's on several different boards, including Watt Fuel Cell Company, Matthew International, Dollar Energy, and Pittsburgh Works Together. He also serves as co-chair of the African American Chamber. So Morgan, it's our pleasure to have you with us here today, and we're excited to hear what you have to say, and thank you for all your commitment and encouragement in the state.
All right, it's always tough following a congressman, so I'll try to see if I can up my game today. But as you were told, I'm relatively new here in West Virginia, going on just over 26 months. And I described to everybody, I've been on a journey, a listening journey to learn as much as I can about the state. And I'll just say it, as you heard my background, I've been watching West Virginia for quite a number of years. And being in the energy side of the business, you appreciate how important West Virginia has been to the country, to the region, to all the importance that it's served. And a lot of it had to do with all the energy here. One of the first conversations I had, I was meeting with an investment group about investing in West Virginia, and it was actually the woman who runs the fund, her husband. He was there, and he pulled me aside, and he said, I grew up right outside Charleston. His family still lives here. And he said, I'm just going to tell you this story. When I was 13 years old, he was very aspirational and went on to become a very successful investment banker. He said, I said to myself, in order for me to achieve my dreams, I'm going to have to leave West Virginia. Right? And he said to me, if you're successful in West Virginia, Morgan, you need to help change that conversation with kids, right? And it resonated, right? Right at your heart. And then one of the first meetings I had in West Virginia was with Senator Manchin. And I was leaving his office, and he said to me, Morgan, if you really want to make a difference here in West Virginia, he said, you'll help us keep kids here in West Virginia and find jobs for them. And I was like, awesome. Like, those are important words of wisdom. Two independent voices coming from different perspectives. So I want to tell you a little bit about our journey so far. As you heard, we were, the company is over 100 years old here in West Virginia, which means a lot to the people that work there. It means a great deal to their families, the legacy of what they do. But when we acquired them 26 months ago, they had rebranded themselves as part of a big energy company, Dominion Energy. They literally became Dominion Energy West Virginia. There was Dominion Energy Ohio, Dominion Energy North Carolina. Every utility they owned sort of lost its identity. And it's one of those when we bought it, I said to the folks, I'm thinking we should just bring back the name Hope Gas. And everybody was like, oh my God, that would mean so much to us, right? And what I didn't realize was how much it meant to the people here in West Virginia. And so I'm on this journey, right, of just learning about West Virginia. And even today, I stay up in Morgantown and I'm driving down 79 and I'm looking around. And I've been here, haven't been here long enough to take anything for granted. And so even though it's, a gray part of the year, you look at the beautiful mountains, right? I tell my employees, they wake up every morning, they look out their windows, they see almost every one of them some incredible view of a mountain with beautiful trees, all 4 seasons, right? They have incredible water streams, right, where they fish and they do things on the weekends. And they go hunting in the woods, right? Like the congressman who happens to get his deer, right? All that. And I'm sitting there listening and watching this and saying, there are people, and I know family members, young people who moved out to Colorado, right, because of the outdoor space and the experience. And I sit there and I say, they have nothing over West Virginia, right? So everywhere I go, I walk in and I say, oh my God, this town is so amazing. It's so beautiful. You've got this. And honestly, and I'll just say it, I think when you've looked at beauty for so long, this is my only rationalization, you take it for granted, right? It's just, well, everywhere must have these mountains and everywhere must have these streams. And the part that really, I'll just peel back the onion a little further, the people, right? There's something special about people from West Virginia. And it's not just the work ethic they have. One of my missions when I started was I said, we're gonna start using West Virginia businesses. So being owned by Dominion, all procurement was done out of Richmond. And so company would replace pipelines. That was a national contractor who would come into West Virginia, do the project, go on to North Carolina, go on to Ohio. I said, why don't we change that model, right, and just hire West Virginia contractors? And so we created this focus, and it wasn't a focus. It was really I'll call it almost a mandate that said everywhere we can, we're going to support West Virginia business. And I had spent my days, right, convincing my investors about all the things Congressman talked about, the future of reshoring manufacturing, all of the important things that's going to happen in this country. West Virginia is the perfect place for it to happen, right? And as I was going around and learning about all the amazing things that have been happening around the state, and getting really excited about this opportunity, I spend, I'll just say it, a good part convincing people to invest here. But those first 24 months, I had to convince some people to come here to work, right? To build that workforce. We added in the first 26 months over 250 jobs. More than half of them, to 3/4 of them, are West Virginians. The other quarter I've brought from all over the country. And I do that story that I started with. I said, you would probably without a heartbeat come to Denver, Colorado and visit a job opening, but I'm gonna challenge you to come to Morgantown, West Virginia and give me the chance, give me the day, right? And we're batting, I think, like 1,000 of younger people who value the outdoor experience, who were somewhere else, came here and saw West Virginia and fell in love with it, right? And so I'm the outside guy, so I have to tell that story as much as I can so that, I'll just say it, all of you who take that for granted realize how special that is and how important it is to younger people especially. And so this first year, we started hiring contractors from West Virginia. And it was a real, I'll just say it was a challenge, right? We started literally this motion where I said to everybody, we have to be purposeful. Like every business should be purposeful, right? And if ours is that we're gonna be a part of West Virginia's growth, we have to help make it happen. And so every aspect of our business, my supply team would say, Morgan, why don't we buy our trucks? We buy hundreds of trucks every year off of the places in West Virginia rather than ordering from GM or Toyota, or no offense, Toyota, buy them off Toyota lots here in West Virginia. Why don't we buy them off the lots? And so we did. This past 24 months, we're buying all of our fleet off of the I'll call it the the dealers here in West Virginia, right? And my employees feel proud of that, right? They feel good about that. Now to the point where we got company hats. And I was so proud. We found a person to do the embroidery of Hope Gas in Morgantown. And I was so proud, and we're passing out these hats, and one of the guys says to me, "This hat was made in Taiwan." And I'm like, "Oh man, I can't hit it all, right?" But that's the journey we're on, right? This is the journey we're on, right? Life's about taking steps. And so the progress that we've made, and I mentioned this the other day at an event up the road a little bit, that we are now all in West Virginia. We've invested a couple $1 billion in that 26 months here. We've hired 250 people here in the state, added jobs, right? And our, call it focus to West Virginia, next in 2025, I'm gonna have over 1,000 West Virginians laying pipe in the grounds in 1 year, 1,000 of them, right? And I tell that story to the people here in Charleston, right? Because they talk about investing capital and fixing infrastructure and all those things. And I keep saying those are creating jobs. Those are jobs. Every time I lay a piece of pipe, 50 cents on the dollar in some places is labor, right? So those are thousands of jobs, right? Family sustaining jobs, not just jobs, right? This isn't bringing migrant workers over. These are people that learn a trade, get paid benefits, can retire, support a family, all those good things. And so we've got 1,000 West Virginians next year working for us, and that's growing, right? But I sit there and I see, right, because where I sit, all these opportunities. I had a tech company. He mentioned on my resume, I sit on the chair of a company that's actually majority owned by a company called Generac. Generac makes backup generators, really popular for people who lose their power. They've invested in a company that's a fuel cell, and it uses natural gas to make electricity. It's sort of the next generation of green solution to what otherwise is a diesel generator. This is much, much cleaner. I brought those guys down here and did the story, took them out and said, here, you would recruit people in Denver tomorrow, get people to come to West Virginia. They see it, they love it, they'll fall in love, they'll be here. They're building their manufacturing facility in Bridgeport. And I was really excited. I got them, sold them on the state, right? Lots of energy, all the good things that you hear. And they sat there and I was asking them after they said yes, and they've signed up to build their facility here. They said, the school systems are great. It's affordable living, low crime rate, good medical centers. Like, you just go down people's checklists, right? And then you put it in the backdrop of this incredible background that West Virginia has. It's like, we're not gonna have any issues recruiting people to come here. We're talking Bridgeport, right? So it's exciting. And their first plant, it's gonna employ 250 new jobs. They're not worried about recruiting it. If it's successful, it could be 1,000 jobs, right? And every one of those opportunities, right, is about selling West Virginia on all the things here. But I'll just tell you one of our big, big important initiatives for us, because I sit there and I look at the impacts my industry has on the state, and I'm not sure people realize it all the time. And we've done a lot of surveying, questioning, like, why doesn't people value the natural gas industry more here in West Virginia? I got 1,000 people laying pipe. I added 250 jobs. And one of the questions I asked were, how many people in West Virginia work in my industry? And the answer is over 80,000 people. There's over 80,000 with contractors, utilities, pipelines, producers, 80,000 West Virginians today. And for my company, it's growing exponentially. There's more and more of those jobs every year. And then I said, how many people work in the coal mining industry, right? And it's less than 12,000, right? So if I ask a West Virginian about coal mining, they say those are really, really important jobs. And I agree 100%. I talk about natural gas, nobody's talking about the jobs, right? So that's on me. That's on Morgan O'Brien and Hope Gas. So last year we partnered with the Educational Alliance to bring some high school kids into our school, into our work. And we went 2 levels. We've got kids who are college ready, going on to college. We educated them on engineers, IT, all the technical things, right, that happen at a utility. We also went into the technical side and brought in a bunch of kids who aren't going to college, right? They're going to become tradesmen, and let them go out in the field, learn about the job. And it's a tiny step, and so value this organization and the doors that you guys open. But I would tell you this, for me and my employees, we consider success if we can open doors to help young people see the career paths that the energy field leads here in West Virginia. And so this past year, it took us a long time, 26 months. I'm not very patient, so that's a long time in my world. We dedicated a state-of-the-art training facility up in Clarksburg. We are, and I'll describe what state-of-the-art is, but it's a training facility for my employees to learn every technical thing they need to learn, right? So an employee who comes in off the street with no technical skills can basically create a career path just by coming to our training facility, right? So that's an incredible thing. We can partner with contractors to help train their employees so we can leverage it. West Virginia, an amazing part, mentioned Senator Manchin, DOE is here funding hydrogen. So we're gonna have hydrogen projects in this training facility. I tell people all around different states, you know, we're gonna have real hydrogen floating through a controlled environment in our training facility. Our employees are gonna learn what happens when you blend hydrogen with natural gas, what happens when you only use hydrogen. This is little West Virginia, right? We're the old coal mining state that everybody thinks about, doing some really cool stuff. But the other side of it is we're building, we call it a gas town. It's basically a replica of a city with small houses, and we partnered with all of the tech schools in West Virginia to build the houses for us. So the West Virginia Techs built them. They have plumbing, they have basements, they have all the things that a worker who would go into a house would see, right? Well, you've all seen these incredible houses. But for us, right, it opens the door to say we want to partner with all the technical schools and high schools to not just talk about our jobs and promote our jobs, but to literally give them the door, right? They can come in, summer internships, they can go out and watch a crew dig a pipe, right? See if that's for them, right? They can work in our call center, see if answering phones, serving, helping people in need, if that's something that draws them, whatever aspect it is, we can open those doors. And it was funny because I said it's like the field of dreams. I don't know anything about West Virginia. We've met the Education Alliance, so that's a big door for us. But people started calling us. I had every tech school in the state calling me. Pierpont is coming down to our office. My head of training sits on their advisory board. We're working together to leverage. Because one of the big things I said to our folks, I don't want to replicate anything. I want to partner with everybody, right? That's going to be our message. So we're excited about West Virginia. We started a campaign. It's called West Virginia is for Hope. And you'll get it, right? Hope Gas. It was a tricky marketing person. I paid a lot of money to come up with that. But it is. It really is. And I believe that more than anybody. I'm here with as much passion about this state, about the future. I convince really smart people to invest lots of money here. And that's a hard job. And I sit there and work with some of the best people I've ever worked with all of the work ethic, all the values. And, you know, this past year, we're creating a new company, even though we're 120 years old. We asked our employees, sort of, what are your values? If you look in the mirror, and the three big values, 97% of my employees had the top two. It was faith and family, and the third was integrity. And I asked my consultant, said never had they seen a company, 97% of the people had the same personal values. So those are our values. That's Hope Gas's values. It's not Morgan O'Brien's values. It's our people's values. And when kids come in, you know, we tell them these are our values. Our people, this is what they value. We're proud if we hire family. We're not ashamed of it. We have lots of good family members who work at our company. And our employees treat each other like family, right? There's a lot to be said for that. So I'll just end with we're learning West Virginia. We're taking steps. We're trying to be purposeful here. I know the relationship my company will have with this organization will hopefully open doors. but I'm going to commit to all of you that we're only going to be successful. We're going to measure success on how many doors we open and how many kids we bring into our company and to my industry, and have them appreciate that the gas industry in West Virginia means jobs and opportunities for them. And that's on us. That's on Hope Gas and my employees. So I do appreciate everything you guys have done. You've been a great partner to us, and our partnership is just beginning. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity to say a few words, and hopefully you'll see the progress that we make. I'm successful at most of the things I do because I surround myself with good people. So I have a lot of good people that are focused on this. And most of all, my employees in the field are so proud of the steps that we're taking, not that we're there. And when we talk about bringing West Virginia kids, teaching them a career path, not just a job, but a career path, whether it involves education at the college level or technical level, we can provide those opportunities. So again, proud to be here, proud to be part of West Virginia, and hold my feet to the fire. I'm going to work to do the things that hopefully many of you are working hard to do already. So thank you.
I've asked Morgan if he doesn't mind just hanging up here for a few minutes for any questions that you may have in the audience.
I was the speaker without a tight schedule in case you couldn't figure that out.
Yes.
Yeah, so she asked for the footprint. And I'll just say this, so 26 months we've been here. We've acquired 5 gas utilities in West Virginia since, so it's growing. So this is as of today. We're in 38 of the 55 counties, right? So just about every aspect of the state. And everybody jokingly says to me, have you talked to that? Have you talked to them? And I'm like, bring them here. We want to grow. We are really bullish on this state and know that having pipelines in the ground, even though it's not hard to get pipelines in the ground, it has been hard in the recent years, means is a lot of value. But natural gas is going to play an important part to this country's future, and West Virginia is at the heart of that. And that, to me, is really the story of what makes it exciting. But today we're in 38 counties, and hopefully a year from now, at some point, I'll be in all 55.
Any other questions? Over here.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, and I'll just say this, we're newbies. So like we're bumping into things as we go. Pierpont approached us, right? Because we convinced the fuel cell company to come up to the Bridgeport, Clarksburg Airport, and they're building a facility there. And they heard about our training facility, and they reached out to us, which was shame on us. And we've already started to talk about using their associate degree programs, but still having some technical sessions at our training facility. So something in between getting a college degree or getting a technical is getting associate degree and getting technically trained, right? So and I would just say this, we are an open door. We have a big welcome mat. If any college, technical school, whatever, would love to reach out to us, we're just learning the footprint as we speak. We did a project recently. We dedicated the gymnasium up at Lewis County, and my employees were really proud of it, high school. And I found out a lot of those kids graduate and don't go on to college, right? And my training facility is right up the street from them. So it was an expensive advertising program. I'll build you a new gym, but I want your kids to come to my training facility. I literally said it that night. Somebody said, why are you doing this? I said, I want to steal your kids. I really didn't mean steal. I meant get them to become workers at Hope Gas. But I think that's how we need to think. We have to become the open door. I don't know all the programs, and I'm not going to create them. I'm not good at that. But I know if I have an open door and partner with people like you all, that you'll come to me with good programs. And what I can do is give people a path forward to an actual career. Like show them what it means on the ground, what a job means, what it means to get paid, right? All those good things. That's the part I can play. And so for us to be successful, I need many, many partners in the tech schools, the junior college, whatever. We're an open door. Yep.
Any other questions? Well, I'll just end with thank you very much,
Thank you.
Morgan. And from a personal experience, last summer we hosted our first summer internships with Hope Gas. It was all summer long, but they did a capstone project at the end of the summer that I was lucky enough to be able to attend. So I went to Morgantown and met Morgan at that time, and he had 12 students. I watched them do their capstones, and like you said, there were some that were in the office and some in the field. But at the conclusion of that, he shared with me that that program did so much to change the culture, or add to the culture of Hope Gas, and he wanted to double the number of students for the upcoming summer. So we are beginning our work to fulfill your desire to provide more students for Hope Gas this summer. So thank you.
And it's just the beginning of a journey. It's just the beginning. So thank you all.
Thank you.